Story 1. The Farmhouse Spoon. Ethan only wanted to escape the rain when he stumbled into the abandoned farmhouse on the edge of town. Inside, dust lay thick like a funeral shroud, but on the rotting kitchen table, something gleamed. A single, untarnished, silver spoon, cold, perfect wrong. It seemed to pulse faintly in the heavy, stagnant air, almost alive. Ignoring his better judgment, Ethan pocketed it and fled as thunder rattled the hollow bones of the house behind him. He should have left it there, because once he took it, it never let him go. Back in his apartment, the storm raged on, but the real terror grew inside. Every night the spoon moved, it slid across the counters, it knocked against drawers, it appeared in his bed, cold against his throat. And always, beneath the howl of the wind, he heard it, a soft, rhythmic tapping. Like fingernails drumming in anticipation, the air grew thick, metallic. Lights flickered, shadows twisted into impossible shapes. Ethan tried throwing the spoon away, smashing it, even burying it. But it always found its way back. Always, closer, always colder. On the final night, Ethan woke to find the spoon hovering above him, spinning slowly. A shape loomed at the edge of his vision. A woman, half submerged in darkness, dripping water onto the floorboards. The spoon tilted, pointing straight at him. The air collapsed. Word. The last thing Ethan heard before the darkness swallowed him was a whisper. "You took what was mine." The next morning, his apartment was empty. Only the spoon remained, pristine on the kitchen counter, waiting for the next thief. Story 2. The Antique Spoon. Claire adored antique shops, their dusty corners, the smell of forgotten time. So when she found a delicate, twisted-handled spoon tucked behind a cracked mirror, she thought it charming. The old shopkeeper refused to touch it, simply sliding it across the counter with a gloved hand. He said nothing, only stared, as if warning her silently. Claire laughed it off, but from the moment she dropped the spoon into her bag, she felt a pressure behind her eyes, like unseen fingers digging into her skull. At home, strange things began. Her phone buzzed with static. Mirrors distorted her reflection, stretching her mouth into impossible, grinning shapes. The spoon would vanish, then reappear, tucked inside her shoes, nestled against her skin in her jacket pocket. And every night, just before sleep took her, Claire heard it, a soft voice whispering right behind her ear. Cold breath brushing her hair. "Come back with me," it hissed. "Come back and finish what you started." Terrified, Claire returned to the antique shop, spoon clenched in her trembling hand. But the shop was gone. An empty lot gaped where it once stood, bare earth scorched and blackened as if something had burned it from existence. In the center of Vike, the lot, half buried in the dirt, something glinted. Another spoon identical to the one in her hand. Dozens more surrounded it, fanned out like a trap. As Claire backed away, hands reached up from the soil, white, skeletal, desperate, grabbing her ankles. The last thing she saw before she was pulled under was her own spoon falling into the dirt, joining the collection. Story 3. The Prison Spoon. Miles had always been fascinated by true crime, so when he won an online auction for an artifact from an abandoned prison, he thought he was buying a cool piece of history. The item, a plain metal spoon, once belonging to a death row inmate who had vanished without explanation before execution day. The listing warned, "Do not bring into your home." He thought it was just marketing hype. He was wrong. The first night, Miles dreamed of rusted bars and endless dark corridors. The second night, he woke to find scratches etched into the walls of his bedroom, deep gouges trailing from the door. To his bed, the spoon placed neatly on his nightstand faced him, almost expectantly. Invisible footsteps paced around his bed at night. Whispers oozed from beneath the floorboards. "Dig. Dig! Dig your way out! He began waking up with dirt under his nails, even though he hadn't left his room. The dreams turned darker. The prison gate swung open endlessly, but he could never escape. Something was waiting for him in the darkness, something that had never truly left the spoon. On the fourth night, Miles awoke to find himself standing barefoot in the backyard. He didn't remember getting up. He didn't remember grabbing the spoon clutched tightly in his hand. Before him, a deep hole yawned, freshly dug, the earth still wet and glistening. At the bottom lay a figure twisted in the dirt, a figure that wore his face. Behind him, the whispers turned to laughter. The spoon dropped from his hand and vanished into the soil. Miles was never seen again. Only the spoon remained, rusted, humming, softly, waiting for someone new.